So what a lovely topic. And, you know, every time I get a topic, then I start thinking about it. So obviously I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks. And I ask myself, do I feel that I regret my life? And I think I have to say no. I think I have to say that overall, right, we all might have small things where we might think we could have done them differently. But overall, I think I would say that no, I think it's a beautiful life that I've created for myself. And I was lucky enough to have many good mentors that guided me. I have a lovely family, lovely parents that guided me in the right direction. So yes, I'm quite blessed. Now, so, you know, what makes me an authority to speak about this then? So I will try and speak actually from a spiritual angle, and at least for some of the things that I feel I could have done differently, I will try and shed light on how perhaps to do those things differently, as I have also tried and done. So yeah, I have a number of notes, and because I thought, you know, we should back this up with a little bit of statistics as well. So let us maybe define the difference between regret and remorse and disappointment. So regret is definitely like an unmissed opportunity. And you'll see as I go on, one of the things that people regret the most is the education or lack of education, or not the right education, or not making the right decision for one's education. So this is where we would say regret, because there was an opportunity, there was a chance, but you know, we didn't take it or didn't make the best of it. And then remorse is when we do something. It's more subjective. It's like almost like where I feel guilty for something. So let's say you're driving a car and somebody, you know, walks in front of it and you knock them over. So that's more like remorse. That's not regret, right? So remorse is where, of course, you know, you didn't intend to knock them over and there was no such, you know, intent, but it happened. And so we would not say regret. You might regret going down that road, but it's the remorse of, you know, hurting another person. And then disappointment is where I might have had expectations that, well, all expectations are bad, but I set myself up for expectations and then I get disappointed. So it's a sadness, really. It's a sadness from not achieving or receiving what I feel I want or I should have in my life. Okay, so those are the slight differences between these words. So I think what we want to focus on today is the regret aspect, because that's where we could have had opportunities and chances, but we didn't take them up, right? So, and you can also reflect on your life, right? As we go through this, what might have been some of those disappointments, or let's say regrets, that you feel you could have taken up, but you didn't. Now, I don't want this session to end in gloom and doom. And so hopefully, yeah, we'll find some resolutions together, solutions together, and end in a happy note. Okay, so as I was saying, that by far some of the most frequent regrets was about not doing the right thing. So it's not about doing the thing, but it's about not doing something. This has come up. I was researching the internet, and this has come up in a number of places. So the regret is about, maybe not, forgiving somebody, or not talking to somebody when I should have, like not resolving that conflict. So the regrets were more about not doing something than doing something. So say, you went paragliding and you fell. I mean, you wouldn't regret that because you did it and that was the consequence. And so it's about not doing the things, you see. So again, look at your life and ask yourself, is there something that I feel I should be doing and I'm not doing, right? And in particular, the most regrets were about not doing the right thing when somebody has died. And I had this also, I must say. There was somebody about 6-7 years ago who died. And I mean, I did say lovely things to her, but I could have said more. And I always wish that I had. So some of the examples here are, not being with mom at the end. She died 2 hours after I left her, and it still haunts me. Or not calling my dad the night before he suffered a fatal heart attack. Not staying with my mom till the very end. I was afraid and needed to go home to my kids, and she died overnight. Yeah, these are just some examples, not my personal, but just to kind of, put it out there. So the truth is that, we all try to make the best decisions, right, in our life, but we don't always, we're not always happy with our decisions. I think that's the point. So as I was saying, the regrets about the decisions not taken. So basically, it's 76% of participants who say that they regret not having taken the action when they should have done. This is from inc.com. And then, as I was saying, education is one of, well, there's 6. Let's put it out there to you. There's 6 pointers where people feel regret, right? Education being the one on the top. Others are career, romance, parenting. And this is where people feel that they could have made a difference either in their life or somebody else's life, and they didn't. But the question I put out to you is it too late? Is it still late? I don't think it's that late yet, right? And here are some deathbed regrets. So a 2018 study found that people were more likely to express ideal related regrets, such as failing to follow their dreams and live up to their full potential. Right? So some examples are, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself and not what others expected of me. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I'd stayed more in touch with my friends. And I know that there's this classic one, right, which didn't really come up, but there is this classic one, because this normally comes up during January, where people make New Year's resolutions, where they say, I want to spend more time with friends or family. But that didn't really come up. So you can see here from, actually, this is from Bronnie Ware, who's a palliative care nurse. And this is what she's citing as what people said towards the end of their life. So you can see that these are more personal, right? It's about oneself, about not doing the things that they wish they had done. It's not so much about caring for the other or taking time out for the other. And then this is an interesting point here. Regrets of an action are more intense in the short term, whereas regrets of inaction are more intense over the long term. I think that's wrong. Regrets of an action are less intense in the short term, but inaction are more intense in the long term. So in other words, over a period of time, we regret more the things that we didn't do than the short term, like let's say daily living, daily life. So, and just one other point here before I just focus on all of you. So this is from National Center for Biotechnology Information. So yes, as I was saying, this the points. But the point that they're making out is, yes, education, career, romance, parenting, self, and leisure, right? This is the order in which people regret. But the point that they're making is we also regret the opportunity that is denied. And I think it's not so much about what is, but what isn't, right? This is what we're saying. But I would say, like, let's say, for example, you can, for education, you can always go back to school. For relationships, you can always make it up. I mean, what I'm trying to say is there are ways in which we can repair or amend what we feel has been a regret in our life. And this is what I feel the spiritual path, the spiritual journey gives to us, is that inner authority, that inner confidence, that inner self-respect, where in a way I can start my life again. It's like I can reinvent my life again. And what I want to ask you is, when we get stuck on small things in life, does it really matter? Like, we have to ask ourselves this question: will this really matter in a week's time? You know, whether it's the choice of our clothes or shoes or handbags, or the kind of car we drive, or the food we eat, or, you know, we spend so much time and attention trying to get all of that right, when really we need to be fixing our inner self. And if I'm at that place where I'm really in touch with myself, then I'll know exactly the right thing to do at the right time. And this is something we were discussing here with our morning class, is how to be more forward thinking, how to be more aware and conscious of the things around us, so that I'm in touch with the world and not, you know, dead to the world. So, for example, if I'm aware and awake, then I'll see that, oh, there is this opportunity, and let me catch it. And, you know, it's a bit like when you're standing in the line in the bank or at the supermarket. And if you're just a little alert, you'll see that, oh, they're opening another till over there, or the cashier has come and she's going to be opening that queue. So if you are a bit alert and aware and not kind of in your phone or something else, you see, you will, I don't want to say run, but you will, you know, go to that cashier and you will be served first. So it's like that in life, really. If I just, you know, am a little conscious, that's the word we would use for the mind. It's the conscious mind. And not stuck in the past, and not stuck in the negativity, or not stuck even in the regret, then I'll feel that I'm actually living my life. You see? We shouldn't be feeling that I'm constantly repairing the regret. This is the other important point. I shouldn't always think, oh, I didn't do that, let me do it. I didn't do that, let me do it. Let me be ahead of the game and let me initiate. But what to initiate, how to initiate? I need to sit in meditation, in reflection, and ask myself, what is it that I want? So that I sit today, I say, this is what I want, and I plant the seed, and every day I water that seed with attention. If I'm constantly feeling like I'm repairing the past, or I'm fulfilling the old regret, it's no joy. There's no joy in that, and there's no real self-fulfillment. And actually, there's more regret, right? Because I wasted time. Now I'm filling that time, and now I regretting. So there's no joy in that kind of life. So we have to kind of get a step ahead and say, okay, what is it that I'd like? And then let me put my attention to that. And there's a very beautiful saying we have in the Brahma Kumaris, and that is, where attention goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, life grows. Right? Where attention goes, energy flows, and where energy flows, life grows. So then I start to put my attention to that which I want. And that's the important thing, not attention to that which I don't want. This is another big mistake we make, is we keep saying, I don't want that, I don't want that. And, I don't want the anger, I don't want the peacelessness, I don't want conflict, I don't want negative people in my life. And what are we giving energy to? We're giving energy to those things. So if you're giving energy to it, you're giving it life, you're breathing life into those things, and that's what's going to grow. So we need to breathe life into the positive, into the things that we want. And I see that those things are there. I'm not in denial. I can see that they're there, but they're on the back burner, or they're on the side somewhere. I see them with my side vision, but my main vision is on the things that I want. So that's important, yeah, to focus, to give energy to that which I want, to initiate, to create that which I want consciously, and to give energy to that. And for this, I need to make time. I can't just live by reacting to the world. Okay, so what I mean here is, in terms of what we were just talking about, we also have to create opportunity for ourselves. We don't wait. We're not just sitting there, waiting for the next opportunity. No, I as a creator, or I as a co-creator, begin to create opportunities in life for myself. And I do that by being virtuous, by thinking positively, by asking myself, what is it that I want? And then really the universe delivers. Things will also come your way, because now you started attracting it towards you, because that's what you put out, so that's what comes back. And let me share a little story here about that. And that is a story of two friends. And so there was one friend who always wanted coffee, right, with the other person. And the other person kept saying, I'm very busy, I can't come. And many times this friend asked him, come on, let's go and let's have a break. And this other person kept saying, no, I'm very busy. And finally, this friend who wanted the meeting, he just said to his other friend, he said, okay, you know what? You're coming with me right now. I'm going to take you somewhere. Because I don't care how much you have to do, you're coming with me right now. And he said, okay. So they got in the car, and this friend took him to the graveyard, right, to the cemetery. And he said, look, do you see all these people lying here? They didn't finish their business. Nobody, nobody finished their business, and they died. They passed away. So don't say that you don't have time, because work will never finish, right? And again, we will regret. We will regret, as our, if you look on the net, And actually this comes up as particularly around this time in December, because people reflect on the year, what they did, what they should have done more of, what we will do more of next year. So this comes up now, and then we make New Year's resolutions or promises to ourselves. So a lot of people will be reflecting, yeah, where did I spend my time, money, energy, and how could I do it differently? So I really want to say to all of you that, yeah, work will never finish, and we have to make time for the things that we really want in our life. Okay, now I want to talk a bit about decision-making process. So as we said, the regrets are about not making the right decision at the right time. So I want to tell you my experience about this. And yes, as I said, generally, I think I've made good decisions. But in cases where I haven't made good decisions, instead of beating up on myself, I say to myself that I could only make that decision based on what I knew at that time. So if 20, 30 years ago I made a decision, that's what I knew then. Yes, I'm more enlightened today. I'm wiser today. Yes, I'm more knowledgeable today. But at that time I wasn't. And so in a way, I have to forgive myself. And that's the best I could do. So this is really something I want to share with you, that instead of beating up on yourself, forgive yourself. And I always say that nothing is really a mistake. It's always an expensive lesson. So yes, maybe those things were expensive lessons and they taught me something. And it's great. It's made me who I am today. It's made me more wise and more knowledgeable. And, I know where to be cautious, and I know what to do and what not to do. So it's never that bad, right? Never see it as really never regret, I think, because there's another expression we have here, and that is guilty is a tea you should never drink. Guilty. Guilty is a tea you should never drink. And why? Because I don't think we should be guilty. I think we should just say, okay, what's the lesson in this for me? Once I understand the lesson and I move on, then I'm so thankful, right? Because this person came to teach me something. And I wouldn't have had the lesson otherwise. I wouldn't have learned in another way. So really in our life, there's no place for guilt. If we really stay stuck in the guilt paralyzes us. And it doesn't allow us to kind of, see beyond that. And everything is shrouded with guilt. So again, try to come out of that space. Try to see what's the lesson, what's the learning, what is the gain, and then try to set that aside by getting more into the good action. So back to decision making, yes. So I want to say that going forward now, okay, we can't maybe do a lot about what is past, although I think, yeah, each circumstance is different and you would need to check that. But going forward now, let us make for ourselves, I wouldn't even say goals, okay? I wouldn't even say aims, but I would say something like, ask yourself, what is the type of life that you want to live? What is the quality of life that you want to live? Because if I can somehow have like an umbrella kind of a feeling about the kind of life that I want, then other things can, fit into that, slot into that. So now, as I said, going forward now, you say to yourself, okay, end of December, beginning of Jan, 2021, what is the kind of life I want to create for myself? So maybe you might say something like, I want to be more peaceful. I want to have more self-time, time for myself. I want to work more on my writing. Travel is not so much. We can't travel so much, but okay, wherever you can travel to, maybe, you make the most of that. But whatever it is, make those decisions, but from an experiential perspective. That's what I'm saying. Not just a goal as, I want to make more money. Yes, everybody wants to make more money, and I'm sure everybody feels they're not being paid enough. But what do you want to do with the money? So maybe you want more comfort, maybe you want more security, maybe you want more, peace of mind, right? So try to zoom in on the experience, the feeling, the quality, and give more energy to that. Because when we zoom in on experience in life, then we can't go wrong. Why? Because the quality is here. The quality that I'm really seeking, like let's just take the classic one of peace. So if I'm looking for peace, peace is actually here, but now I'm going to focus more on peace or peace of mind or peace in my life. So the quality is here, already here. It's just that I'm watering it, and that's going to, instead of be a sapling, turn into a tree. It's not like I have to go looking for the seed. So when I focus on security, kindness, love, honesty, all these, humility, when I focus on all these qualities, I don't have to look far. I don't have to work that hard. I don't have to struggle because it's here. It's just building on those. And anyway, whatever we do in our life, what do we do it for? It's for the experience of these qualities, isn't it? So if I say I regret, if I regret maybe not, whatever, talking to a person, not forgiving them, let's say, why am I regretting that? Because of my quality of my relationship or because of my personal principles, right? Of having a big heart, being generous, being kind. So everything in a way goes back to the seed, which is my virtues, my qualities. And this is what we need to be giving more attention to. This is the point. And whatever I am thinking about, really, I'm giving more attention to that. I know I already said that, but just to underline, it's a bit like it's a bit like the story where there was a tailor, right? It's a story set in India. So there was a tailor boy, and he comes home to rest in the afternoon, and he comes home to eat, and he decides he's going to have a little rest first, and so he's lying there on the couch, and then his mother asks him, "What would you like to eat?" And he says, "Oh, 2 meters of chapati and 1 meter of cloth. So it's a bit like half in his dream, he's thinking of the food and he's thinking of his job. Or like let's say a carpenter, right? Half the time carpenter's thinking about his job and the work he has to do, or a chef is thinking about his food. So really, whatever we are engaged in, we have lots of thoughts about that thing. And we have to be careful that we're able to detach from that when we need to, and not get stuck in our jobs or our labels or our professions, because otherwise everything is just set around that. And the world is huge. There's more the world has to offer to us than just that job. So yeah, going back to now, yes, the decision making once more, sorry. So back to that, yeah, every day when I wake up, every day has a foundation to the day, right? This is what we realize. Every day we create a foundation. And for us spiritual people, we wake up early and we have a good dose of morning meditation. So with everything in life, we need a foundation. And, you know, the higher the building, the deeper the foundation. I don't know much about structures, but I know this much. The taller the building, the deeper you have to go into the ground. And so if I want to become a great soul, if I want to become a powerful soul, then I have to go deep, 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 deep inside. I cannot afford to have shallow thinking anymore. It doesn't serve me anymore. So I need more personal time. I need more quiet time, and I need to focus on myself. See, we spend a lot of time trying to fix other people when I'm the one that has to live with myself. So, in terms of regret, if I'm making the right choices for myself, then when I'm at the end of my life, I'm going to be happy with the choices I made for myself, right? Even children these days, I mean, you might have a good, guidance for them, but they will end up doing what they want to do. Each one's account of karma is different, is separate. I can only guide, I can only inspire, maybe, but I can't. We cannot tell anybody what to do, and you can't expect others to do what you tell them to do. So, at least for myself, I can tell myself what I need to do so that later in the game, I am not disappointed or regretting. So, yeah, keep yourself short goals. So, foundation for the day is morning, then build on it throughout the day. Foundation for the week, for the month, for the year. And it all starts now, right? This is the point. It all starts now. So, I'll do a meditation in a few moments, but I would like all of us before the end of the year, and I will be doing this, and I'm even thinking maybe to do a separate seminar for this. And it would be called Looking Forward. And it's about reflecting on the things that we want more of so that we can put more energy into that. Now, let me say that in the process of creating this ideal self, there can be doubt. And doubt is something that we all have to deal with. There'll always be this negative voice inside of us that keeps saying, do you think you can do that? Do you think you're that smart? Do you think that you're that good? And this voice will try to sabotage the good things that we want to do. Even if you say for yourself, okay, again, the classic one, I want to lose weight. And then that weak, weak voice will say, do you really think you can lose 10 kilos? Well, you haven't done it in the past. And then this makes us, right, weak and frail, and then we give up. We don't even start. So instead of saying, I want to lose weight, how about saying, well, I'm going to walk every day. I'm going to walk half an hour. I'm going to walk 1 hour. I'm going to walk 3 kilometers. How about setting goals like that? So how about saying, I am going to skip one meal, right? So instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to lose weight, I say, okay, these are the steps I'm going to take. And so back to family, if I want to spend more time with family, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to spend more time with family, how about saying, okay, I'm going to visit them once a week, or I'm going to be on a Zoom call with them once a week, or connect with so-and-so every day, whatever, whoever it is, whatever's needed. So set yourself goals like that. Like if you want to make more money, right? Everybody wants to make more money. But again, you have to ask yourself, how much stress are you willing to put up with to have more money? And is it really worth it? Or do you want more peace of mind? So give up the pennies for more peace of mind. And this is a choice that you have to make. At the end of the day, are you, this was another thing that had come up a few years ago. It was passing through the WhatsApp messages, and that is all the money that you have left in your bank account when you die is useless. Like, you've worked for it and you've wasted your time working for it because you haven't used it, you haven't enjoyed it. So this is my point. If I'm just earning to collect and put in the bank, what's the point? I remember when I was living in Vancouver and I just got a job. And at that time I was thinking, shall I get a new car? Shall I get an old car? And then, because there's long distances to drive, etc., I decided, okay, I'm going to get a new car. And I was paying monthly for it. But I remember the joy. It was a little car, it was a little Honda car. And I remember the joy I got from having this car and being able to go to places was just much more than if I had saved that money in the bank. So, yeah, okay, we need to plan, we need to save, that's fine. And we shouldn't be without. But again, weigh it up. What is more important in my life? What am I willing to put my, energy to? Yeah. So I'd like us to do a little, oh yeah. Let me just read one or two stories here. These were also nice. Again, a little bit about regret. So today's the 14th day in a row that my 87-year-old nursing home patient's granddaughter has come to visit him. Right? Today's the 14th day in a row that my 87-year-old nursing home patient's granddaughter has come to visit him. 2 weeks ago, I told her that the only time I see her grandfather smile all week is when she visits him on Saturday afternoons. So once she found out that, she makes him smile, she started to come every day. In the final decade of his life, my grandfather woke up every single day at 7 a.m., picked a fresh wild flower on his morning walk and took it to my grandmother. One morning, I decided to go with him to see her. And as he placed the flower on her gravestone, he looked up at me and said, I just wish I had picked her a fresh flower every morning when she was alive. She really would have loved that. Last night, my best friend since childhood was put in the hospital for attempting suicide. She's always listened to my petty problems and asked me how I was feeling. But I'm sitting here in tears now and realizing that I rarely ever asked her how she was feeling because she always seemed like she had the perfect life in my eyes. Earlier today, in the last few hours of her life, she told me her only regret was that she didn't appreciate every year with the same passion and purpose that she has had in the last 2 years after she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I've accomplished so much recently, she said. If I had only known, I would have started sooner. Yeah, are you relating to some of these things? This morning at a train stop near the hospital, a man and his 3 young kids got on. The kids were loud and completely out of control, running from one end of the train car to the other. An annoyed passenger sitting next to me looked over at the man and asked, is there a reason you're letting your kids go nuts right now? The man looked up with tears in his eyes and said, the doctor just told me their mother isn't going to make it. Sorry, I'm just trying to think before we all sit down at home to talk about this. And of course, the annoyed passenger was speechless. Yeah, so there's a number of stories like this. But the point is that once we know, right, once we know what can go wrong, or once we understand what's happening behind the scenes, then we begin to make a difference. It's easy for us to judge, right? But in conflict resolution, we always have to inquire before we judge. So, one of my articles that I had written earlier was living, living and leaving without regret. And so, really, now is the time to take a check on our life and ask ourselves the question, are we doing the things that we wanted to do? And if not, really, we have to start today. Yeah, so for this, let us do a little meditation. And then I'm happy to take any questions and yeah, take it from there. So everybody just sit comfortably, try not to hold on to anything. So just take this moment to go inside, to see my inner world, to take a closer look at my inner world. This inner world of thoughts and feelings. So I'd like you to check, how are you feeling right now? Try to identify, specify a feeling. How are you feeling right now? And don't just say good or bad, but try to really zoom in, give an adjective to your feeling. And I want us to start with an affirmation. So I'd like you to say this quietly in your mind and let every cell in your body hear this affirmation. And that is, I have the power to create the life that I want. I have the power within me to create the life that I want. And just say that a few times, but each time you say it with more and more belief and conviction. And really feel it. Feel that you have that power. And now I would like us to look at our self-esteem. How much respect do I give to myself? How much respect do I give to my thoughts and ideas? How much respect do I give to my feelings? Or do I avoid my feelings? So let me learn to respect every aspect about myself. So now get into that place of truly accepting, loving, respecting yourself. Yes, for all the flaws, weaknesses, as well as all the qualities. Just create for yourself this loving space inside of your mind, inside of your heart, where you say to yourself, I really love you. Yeah, it's the I talking to the I. I really love you. And from this healthy space, I'd like you now to create a vision of your ideal life. Not the details, but just try to visualize your ideal life. And what are the qualities, major qualities in this life? Is it freedom? Is it happiness? Is it peace? Is it love? Is it truth? Is it kindness? Just try to focus in on the major qualities. And for now, I just want you to feel that vision. Don't need to do anything else. Just try and get a vision for that ideal life. This is about your life, not your life with others, just your life. And don't even say, oh, because of them, I can't do this, I can't create this. No, just focus on yourself. Okay, try to just feel, sense this ideal life. And now, in this silent space, we will plant that seed. You will say to yourself that right now, today, in this moment, I'm planting that seed of that ideal life. And slowly, I want you to visualize that that seed is growing, is taking shape. Just in your mind, just in your mind's eye, to see that that is coming to fruition. And just sit with yourself for a moment now and just truly accept yourself. Just be absolutely at peace with yourself. It's a beautiful life, and it will be an even more beautiful life. I'd just like us to turn our attention for a moment to God. We see God as the supreme light, like a supreme sun. And so we need that light in order to blossom. So just take a few moments to just sit under that supreme light. Just envelop yourself with the rays of God's light. And it's just so comforting to know that I am not alone on this path, that I have God as my guide, as my companion. And He will help me. She will help me to make the best choices. Okay, when you're ready, just come back to the Zoom room. I'll just say something, Margaret, before you take the questions. So I just want to say that I know one of the things that people feel that they don't have is the power, right? The power to put into action their thoughts, their desires. So this is the last thing I want to say, that when we connect with God in meditation, and when we connect with our higher self in meditation, then we do get the power. See, I believe that other meditations help us to relax, but Raj Yoga meditation helps us to transform. I can't say how and what, but there is a feeling of connection with God, and it's the feeling of taking power and somehow having that inner power to make the changes in our life, the power to change our habits. And even last week, one of the Arab ladies was telling me that before she used to get so angry with her kids. And she said, after now meditation, I don't get angry as much. I mean, there's just so many stories like this where really, as we focus, we meditate, we connect with God, we take power, we fill ourselves with light, then we don't realize, but we get the power to transform. And I'd like to, leave you with that you're not alone on this path. Because if I'm to change myself alone, yes, it's difficult. But knowing that I have God with me and I have, this guidance. I mean, each one of us does. I'm not special. Each one of us has this divine guidance. And this is what helps us to change and make our lives better or for the better. So yeah, Om Shanti. Yes, Margaret, I'm happy to take any questions or any comments.
Have you got any questions in your chat, Aruna? Is it coming through to you? The first one I've got in mind is, living without regret means I have let go of the past. How can I do this if I had a difficult past and it's hard to say I'm sorry or I forgive you? What are your top 3 things to overcome these problems?
I don't know about top 3 things, but yeah, you see, yeah, past is always a difficult one because, see, I always say to people who talk to me, like, the past is not something we can change, but we change our past by creating a better future. You see? So this moment is going to become the past, isn't it? This moment is going to become the past in a second, in a minute, in an hour. So let me start now by creating a better moment now. And then with time, this moment, this moment, this moment, this moment is going to erase the past. Or you can say, like, this moment is going to become more beautiful than the past. So the memory you will have is of this moment and not the past. You see? Like, I'm not trying to make you think that the past is gone. The past is there, but our job now is how to make the best of the past. That's where you will win, let's say. You will win in life if you make the most of your past. Like, make it as a fuel, make it as a motivator. But if I stay stuck in the past, if I stay stuck in the rut, if I stay stuck in what was not working, then I'm going against life. And there's a very nice expression, Margaret, like, how many of us drive a car looking, through the rear windscreen? We don't. I mean, we might look at it for a bit in this front little mirror, but we don't focus, right, on the rear windscreen. We focus on the front windscreen. So it's very important that at some point we have to let go of our past. So take a time, take a moment, be in a safe space, be with, people, good people around you, and look at the past and then really take the best from it, take the cream from it, take the lesson from it if you can, and then let the rest go and only hold on to that cream. Even in difficult situations, where a lot of people go through divorce, for example. So I say, okay, but how did that person help you to become who you are today? Let's try and find something positive in this. And if you look, you will find, really. And when you find, then just hold on to that nugget, just hold on to that little diamond, and that is enough. That is enough to say, you know what, thank you so much for that experience. Of course, everything is number wise, and we don't know. I mean, I don't know what everybody's been through. Each one's story is different. But in essence, in general, I would say try to just take the best from what is, and use it to make you stronger. Have I answered the question, Margaret?
I think so. One thing I've noticed, if you dally too long in your interior mirror, when you go to look forward, you've veered off the road. You've moved. You're not in a straight line anymore.
Yes, you're right.
So keep to the front and not to the back. Why have we not been given eyes so we can see at the back? Because it's of no use to us.
Yeah.
So the second question, I believe love is a great power. Why do I find it difficult to use when I come across difficult people?
Love is a great power, but I find it difficult to use with difficult people. Is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who is defining that this is a difficult person? I'm defining, right? This person is just a person. But I'm making the judgment that this is a difficult person. So difficult people are those that don't do what we want them to do, or do what we don't want them to do, right? That's how we define a difficult person. So this is where we have to change our vision. They are not difficult. They are just doing what they know. They are just being who they are. You see? And I find them difficult. Like I always say, why I find it difficult to lift a 20-kilo suitcase? Because I don't have the muscle. It's not difficult. The job is not difficult, actually. But I find it difficult, right? Because I can't lift it. I can't deal with the situation. So the answer is I have to develop more strength, more inner power. And really, when I change, the world changes, right? This is another one of the Brahma Kumari slogans. When I change, the world changes. Now, the world may not literally change, but because I change, my vision changes, my attitude changes. So now you will not call this person difficult anymore. And because you don't have this attitude, vision towards them, then they'll start loving you too, because now you don't see them in this negative vision, right? You don't see them, like everybody catches your vibration, right? Everybody knows what you're thinking about them. So if you don't like them, that's the vibe that they're catching. And then they behave that way as well in return. So I change my vision. I start sending them good wishes. And with time, I will start loving them. And I will thank them because now they've helped me, right, to increase my inner muscle strength. So now I'm able to embrace this person and this person and this person. So that's how we learn to love. And the other thing, actually, I was asked this question last weekend, a similar question like this. This person was saying, why can't, I love my brother? I love my friends, but I don't love my brother when, he's doing something that I don't like. And this is the thing. I mean, with family, we are very familiar. We take them for granted. We expect more from them. And so it's difficult to love them. But if I can just be a little compassionate, see, if I say to myself, do I have this weakness? Have I had this weakness? Have I been like this sometimes? And if I have, then I have to be compassionate because I'm not perfect. So I can't expect others to be perfect. And this is the trap we fall into is we don't want to make the effort, but we want everybody else to be perfect. And then we just set ourselves up for disappointment. So be humble, be compassionate, be forgiving, love, and that is the only way.
Thank you. Another question is, Aruna, what is your best suggestion for young community like 18-year-old people for positive life?
Well, it's, I just feel like it's, spiritual company is very important, especially around this age. So meet once a week, talk on spiritual subjects. If you get an opportunity, go out and do something good for the community as a group. Get into action, I mean. But spiritual company is very important. So I would say come together, meditate together, have what we call spiritual parties, where it's, good food, good company, but yeah, without the bad habits. So definitely, yes, stay in good company. That's my advice to young people.
This one says, would you say we are creators? Can we truly heal the past and forgive?
Yeah, definitely. I really believe we can. See, let me just take a moment, Margaret, maybe to talk about this since it's coming up a few times. Um, you see, if I'm holding on to the past, then I'm the one that's suffering. And this is something I have to realize. Because something may have happened 10, 20, 30 years ago, right? So that thing that happened and went. The person who said it and went. Even the situation, the circumstance, like maybe your living conditions, people, whatever, you may have changed country, whatever, all that has changed. But the only thing that has not changed is me and my mindset, and I'm stuck in that moment. So who's the one that's suffering now? Who's the one that's, not being served here? And that is me. So I need to say to myself, no, I'm not going to do this to myself. And so I choose to let go. One of the things I just wrote about recently on the Facebook is this thing of just drop it. There was a crow and an eagle, and this crow has a piece of meat in his beak, and he's flying, and the eagle is after him, and of course the crow is very distressed, and because he thinks the eagle is after him. So there is this wise bird called the Garuda, and he comes next to the crow and says, well, what's going on? Why are you so stressed? And the crow says, well, this guy, this eagle wants to eat me up and kill me. So Garuda says, no, he doesn't want you. He wants the piece of meat in your beak. Why don't you just drop it and then you'll see what happens? So he followed his advice. He dropped the meat. And of course, the eagle went after the meat and the bird was free. So the point I was making is, what are we holding on to that is holding us back? And we have to drop it. So these things that keep us in gloom and doom and sadness and disappointment don't help us to move forward. It's like they're like a ball and chain on the soul. And so when we use the word forgive, right? Forgive. First, give. So forgive. First, give to yourself. First, give to yourself love, kindness, compassion, and let it go. There's no place for sadness and suffering in my life. So just let it go and be free. And from that place of freedom, then you can make better choices. So really, nothing needs to hold you back. It's you. It's only you. You have to let it go.
This question's asking, what is the opposite strong feeling of fear? What is the opposite strong feeling of fear?
Well, we always say opposite of fear is love. If I really love, And I'd written about this once also, that love is the greatest weapon. See, when we're afraid, we pull out all our other daggers, but we have to pull out the dagger of love and kill them, in a way, kill them with our love. And this is something we don't do. So, yeah, if I'm afraid, why am I afraid? I'm afraid partly because of ignorance. You know, if I'm afraid of bears, or dogs, it's because I don't have knowledge about them, right? I don't know how they work. I don't know what they think. I don't know why they come to me, etc. So once I educate myself about that which I'm afraid of, then I can begin to love that thing. So that's where ignorance, I have to dispel the ignorance. But yeah, love conquers all fears, I would say. So like, let's say even I have fear of darkness. How do I get over that? Is to love the darkness, to love the moon, to love the moonlight, to, try to find again the best in what there is. So yeah, love is the greatest emotion, right? Well, the other thing I wrote recently is love is a feeling, it's not an emotion. It used to be an emotion now, but for us it's a feeling. So we have to be in the feeling of love, not the emotion. And if you want to know the difference, yeah, so the difference is um, feeling, like emotion is energy in motion. So I see emotion going like this, okay, and feeling going like this. So if I'm in the love emotion, it's here today and gone tomorrow. But if I'm in the feeling of emotion, it's there, it's constant, it's steady. Yeah.
The second part to that question was, what is the opposite strong feeling of regret?
Opposite strong feeling of regret. So regret, we said, is that which, we didn't do. So maybe it is this self-confidence, self-respect of, knowing that I did the right thing. I mean, I haven't thought about it. It's a good question. But right now, I would say just really that conviction, that self-confidence of, yes, I did the best that I could. I did the right thing. And then really to, stay firm in that belief and not to doubt it, right? As I said, doubt can come and really, ruin everything. And it just takes one doubt, doesn't it? You don't need many doubts. You just need one doubt, and it creates that crack, and all the foundation goes. So, yeah. Do you know, Margaret? Do you want to say what is the opposite?
I think it takes some thinking about, because it will be individual. Your regret will be different to my regret. So what is the foundation of the regret that you're regretting? In which case, then you can find that and change it. But I liked your analogy that you did the best you can. And at that time, that's the only information you had to deal with it. And you did what you thought was best at that time. And the outcome is what it was. And now if you're still lost in the outcome, which possibly wasn't what you wanted, then you have to let it go and move forward.
Well, and create a new outcome. This is what we're saying. See,
Yeah.
Raja Yoga is to become the master of the self. So actually, I had one of these questions sent to me. Am I the creator? Yes, I am the creator. I'm the creator of my life. So Raja Yoga means to create, right? I'm the master of my life. I create. So if I don't like something, I can choose to create something else. And this is the beauty about us, human beings. So always know that you have that power of choice. Yeah.
how can one deal with the regret of everything missed out on, like a career, relationships and children, when caring for an elderly disabled relative for 15 years? I feel I have lost my best years devoting myself to my relative and worry what will become of me when she passes away.
Yeah, it's not easy. But see, we don't want to constantly stay sad, right, and upset. I mean, a few years ago when we started visiting the Himalayas, I was actually thinking that I should have visited these mountains in my early years. And I had also lost the best years, of my life, and didn't hike at that time. But I then said, well, as I said earlier, well, did I regret what I did? And no, I didn't regret. So the answer to this person, I would say that I'm sure they're earning a lot of blessings from helping the people that they are. And this is something we shouldn't forget, that when we sacrifice to do something and we give up, something self-centered for that, then there is a joy in that. There is a sense of fulfillment. There is a sense of, yeah, I did something, and it's good karma. It's good karma that will really bear a lot of fruit, good fruit. So don't stay in that feeling of, yeah, I didn't do that, but what you did, you will get more return. Like back to my hiking, like, yes, I could have gone climbing mountains and that would have been great for me. But I used those early years, to help a lot of other people. And I'm very happy about that. And you don't know what difference you made in their life. We will never know. So same thing for this person who's writing to you. See, the other thing that we were talking about in another talk was sometimes it's just our destiny. Like maybe we are just destined to help other people. I mean, we as much as we may try to do something else, maybe it's just your karma to help that person. So that is another point of acceptance, that, yeah, I have to give to this person now. So let me give with love and not a heavy heart.
How can you tell that you have connected with God?
Well, you just get a very lovely feeling. For me, I just feel safe. I feel secure. I feel protected. I feel loved. And all these are not coming from inside of me. This is a feeling that I'm feeling. I'm feeling the light. And it's feelings coming to me, right? It's not feelings from just inside of me that I'm emerging. It's a very good feeling. It's a comforting feeling. And you will know when you've connected. It's a bit like when you connect with some memory of the olden days, or some, say, family moments, and you just get a good feeling, right? Yeah.
There are actually 3 more questions. Are we okay to continue? Because I'm aware of the time.
Yeah, we'll try and answer them.
Okay. How to balance being a meditator who doesn't need anything and still making wishes?
You mean desires? Yeah, this was another thing we were discussing yesterday morning, that, see, we don't have desires because we know that all desires will get fulfilled. This is a very deep point. We don't have desires because we know in the back of our mind that every desire will get fulfilled. And so if you know, like say you're a child, you know, who knows that I'll always get what I want, then you don't even have to ask for it. You don't have to desire it. So this is, I think, the aim, that just don't think, just know, just believe that whatever you want, you will get. And so in this way, I keep a simple mind, I think less, I don't think much, and I trust.
How can we, if we're in a long time consuming queue, whether in traffic or at a supermarket, how can we use meditation teachings to not get frustrated or agitated, etc.?
Yeah, so see, the thing is, we're always looking for time, right? Nobody has time. So now if you've been asked to stay in the line, in the traffic or at the queue, just take that moment. It's a really good moment to just be. Why should I be just rushing around, running around like a crazy person? So just take a moment to be, just be. Just say to yourself, this is my moment to be. And again, use it to your advantage. See, you can get frustrated if you want. Everyone can, but it's not going to help. So just say, okay, I got a moment. Like even people who have to drive a long way to work or in the train, just put on some nice music, listen to a nice, spiritual class, and just say to yourself, this is great. I'm setting my mind for work. I'm setting up, the right vibration for work. So be grateful that you got this moment.
I'm wondering if there are any more questions coming in, Aruna. Can we connect with you with those questions, or let you have them and then you can let us have them back?
Yes, see, yeah, you can email them to me and I'll do my best.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, because people are adding on all the time. They're keeping adding on. Because you're so good at answering these things. And this is, I think, what most people are short of, the ability to connect and to actually take benefit from what's been said. And I think that's because of your clear understanding, your clarity of wisdom and mind from meditating, that helps you over a long period of time, drop by drop, to be able to assimilate these things, experience also. You've actually made your life. You've created and made your life. I know you have, because I've known you for a long time. And so you're proof of what happens in this way. So I'd like to say thank you very, very much.
But Margaret, one second. As you said, it's really drop by drop. Like this didn't happen overnight. So this is the message to everyone: drop by drop by drop, every day. Just keep making that effort.